Hey, so in this lecture, I'm going to be showing you some simple exercises that you can do with your pencil so you can immediately become a better artist. So these are some sketching warm-up exercises mostly that you should start doing, especially if you're a beginner. Even if you're advanced, it's good to warm up your hand and start, getting back into the groove of drawing before you start on your final piece. It's just like working out, basically. So the first one that we're gonna do is like a line drawing exercise. I've just got a couple different pencils here. I've got an HB pencil, normal one that everyone's got, an 8B pencil, and a 3H pencil. So I've got a soft one, a very hard lead, and a medium lead. So I've got my sheet of paper here, and I guess before we completely start, I'd like to get some things out of the way. So when you see a beginner artist, maybe they start to draw their shape like this, and I'm just going to use like a cube, but they'll do like tiny little scratchy lines like this. And it almost looks fuzzy, and it just doesn't, it just shows kind of a lack of confidence sort of in where they're going with their line and where they're going with their overall drawing. And you don't want your drawing to look like this because it looks kind of messy. So you want to train yourself to get away from that. And how you get away from that is learning how to draw straight lines properly. And I'm going to use a cube for this course. And we're going to, well, this is a rectangular prism, but we're going to stay within this sort of shape. And it's important to learn this sort of shape because you can fit basically anything inside of it. So once you learn how to rotate this shape, you can start to learn how to rotate any object. It's key to learning how to sketch. So I want to try to get you away from doing these sort of scratchy lines or drawing where you're taking an extremely long time and starting and stopping. I want you to be confident. I want you to have confidence when you're drawing. Sorry. And get really straight lines and start to get faster. So I have some exercises here. And first, before you start, you're going to want to think about how you're holding your pencil. So really that depends on what you want your lines to look like, or if you're shading, or what you're actually trying to achieve. So usually when I'm drawing, I'll hold my pencil like this, near the front pretty tightly. If I'm holding it tight, I'll get darker lines, and it's really just about the pressure that the tip is coming into contact with the paper with, and I'm holding it like pretty tightly, and I can still get that tonal range there. But if I'm shading a large portion of a drawing, sometimes I'm going to want to hold it sort of near the back like this. I just like push the eraser into my palm to give it some stability, and I put my forefinger on the front, and I'm usually able to get like a very light tone doing this. Like I usually don't try to go very hard when I'm doing this. It just allows me to get that light tone across a larger portion of my page. And I've seen all sorts of people hold their pencils differently. I see people hold their pencils like this, or like, I don't know, all crazy ways. Really, if you're not comfortable holding your pencil like this, don't hold it like that. But just know when you're holding it at the front, like what kind of pressure you're probably going to get out of it best. And if you're doing a detailed drawing, you're going to want to hold it probably near to the front or near to the front middle. You don't want to hold it near the back because then you kind of lose some sort of control. So depending on what you're trying to draw, and for these exercises, I would suggest holding it near the front. But really in the end, it is up to you. These are just my suggestions. But because we're doing very straight lines to start off, I would suggest holding it near the front. So I'm going to use all my different pencils with these exercises, and we're going to start with some quick line drawing exercises here across the whole page. And the reason I'm tilting my page is due to the ease of drawing the straight lines. It's much easier to draw a straight line when my page is on an angle, and to each person it's going to be different, so you're going to have to kind of find where your sweet spot is for getting that follow-through motion. So basically, draw lines across your whole page. Quickly, don't think too much about it. And you just want that sort of motion. Another interesting exercise is to draw some dots. And what you're going to do with these is connect them. So I'm going to set them up on each side of my page. And what this is going to allow you to do is connect your start and your end point in your head before you do the line. And it's going to improve your accuracy. So you want to do this sort of stuff a lot. It's just kind of like if you're working out, it's just kind of like lifting weights. So basically you want to try your best to get that trajectory in as straight of a line as possible. So this is my 3H pencil that I'm using. And sometimes I miss, but you want to get you want to try and get those straight lines as good as possible. The bigger the page is, the harder it is. So I'll take my 8B pencil here and I'll set up a smaller grid. I'll throw some more in there. I just want to use some different pencils to show you how things turn out. It's up to you what one you want to use. So you can see my accuracy and my lines improve if it's on a smaller grid. Typically, you probably should use a ruler if you're going across a page like that, and that's what you might be thinking. But the object of this exercise is to start to hone that ability without your ruler. So when you're just sketching freehand stuff, you don't always have to go to your ruler to get something that looks nice. So you can draw something like this. You can draw your cube with your nice straight lines like that. And that's what you're trying to achieve. You're trying to not take too long to draw something like that, and you're trying to not use those little sketchy lines. And yes, I've gone a little bit over, but that's what your eraser's for. You can touch up the little edges, spend some more time on your drawing. Good drawings aren't done in 2 seconds, but this is what you're trying to achieve. And it's useful if you're like trying to sketch out an idea for somebody like right there. You can do something that starts to look pretty good. So I'll take my HB pencil again, and we're gonna try something a little bit different here. So right below this cube, I'm gonna do another exercise where my lines are gonna start out further away from each other, and then as I get to the bottom, I'm gonna get them closer and closer and closer together without touching. And try to do it as fast as possible, as straight as possible. And you want to do this all the time. You want to do this, especially if you're a beginner and you're just getting comfortable with your pencil. You want to keep doing stuff like this. So I challenge you to pause the video right now, grab your pencil and your paper, and fill an entire sheet like this with lines, doing any of the exercises that I've just shown you, preferably all of them. And then press play again, and I'll show you some more exercises.